to another ranking video. It's been a while since we've done one of these since the Star Wars one, I believe, but I'm joined by the usual
Jonah Morgan.
And we are here with the ranking of Phase 1. We have just finished our review of the Avengers, so now we are going to give you our ranking of all 6 movies in Marvel Phase 1. Without wasting too much time, let's go ahead and jump right into it with number 6.
Okay, starting from the bottom. The bottom's Hulk.
Yeah, it's the Incredible Hulk.
Is it bad? Is it as bad as I remember it being? No, I don't think so. But it's just, out of all these, it is definitely the least fun on rewatch. Absolutely.
Yeah, because it just wasn't, even with it having a really short runtime, like an hour and 40.
I stick behind the fact that maybe one, if not none, no Marvel movie deserves lower than like a 4 or 5, but maybe.
And let's say MCU movie.
Yeah,
we have to stress that.
A bad Marvel movie is still a decent movie. Yeah, our overall thoughts of Hulk were, it was, for being as straightforward as it was slow, and some of the CGI didn't look fantastic. But like,
it just wasn't interesting.
I think a lot of it was the fact that it came out in the same year as Iron Man, which is amazing.
It came out in like the same season as Iron Man. It came out 2 months after it, if not a month.
Okay, I think
we've said
Hulk's
we said all we need to say about that. Hulk was just the worst of Phase 1, and one of the worst in the MCU, but still not a terrible movie.
I would bear watching it again. I mean, I don't want to, but I would bear watching it again. If it's a bad movie, I'm not watching it again, but I would watch it again.
Yeah. But
okay, next I have
number 5.
Next I have, so disclaimer, between 5 and 6 I have the words large gap. Next at 5 is unfortunately Thor, even though I love Thor, but like one of the next couple movies had to be number 5, right above 6. So
Thor once again suffers some problem of not being the most interesting of stories, but it bumped up a whole lot above Hulk because it has so much more interesting characters, and it looks so much better, and it's just a little more fun to watch.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch. It looks stunning for 2011. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. But again, still suffers from the problem of not having as interesting of a story compared to the top 4. But it's still a good movie, and it's still worth a rewatch.
When the top 4 are what these are, I mean, if you're 5, you live with it.
Yeah.
Next is
at number 4,
Iron Man 2, which in my list I would have had at 3. I would have had at 3, but that's just because I don't think that Iron Man 2 is a better movie than Iron Man. I just enjoy it more. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's a better
2,
movie.
3, and 1 was where we kind of had different opinions on it in terms of what should go. So,
but we all see why the others.
We all see, because Iron Man 2, while I'm still not as big a fan of it compared to him and Logan, it's still a really fun movie. And
did you like it better on rewatch?
A little bit, yeah. So it was still better on rewatch. Still like not one of the best in the MCU in my eyes, but it's still.
I think it's right there in the middle to like right above the middle.
I say it's right above the middle. I say above average, but
I think it's definitely above. Yeah.
Because the movie was just so much fun to watch. It's an Iron Man movie, and because of how much I love Iron Man, I'm gonna enjoy the movie no matter what. So there's that.
I feel about Iron Man 2 how you feel about Iron Man 3.
Yep.
Enjoyable to watch. Maybe like if you look at it, there can be some gripes,
but the fun outweighs the problems. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. So 2 and 3 was kind of where, not really like we had a lot of trouble deciding. It's just like that's why we needed Logan on the phone to kind of decide.
Before I say this, I will say Logan's list is exactly this list that we have here.
Logan's list is exactly this list, and
Logan,
mine
you're the smartest of the 3 of us. That's what I'm hearing.
Fair. So, but my personal list has 2 and 3 switched, but I am perfectly okay with number 2 being above number 3. Because number
3 is Iron Man 1.
Personally, I have this in number 2. I say this is like a top 10, probably top like 6 or 7 MCU movie for me. Because I think this is better than number 2, which you guys probably know what number 2 is. But I'm okay with 2 being what it is, because both 2 and 3 are just such great movies. And Iron Man was a fantastic start to the MCU. It introduced us to Iron Man as a character, had a great villain, and it's just so much fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it better on rewatch because the last time I'd watched it, I was a little bit younger. I didn't understand the story as much because it's about terrorists.
Yeah.
So I liked it a good bit better on a rewatch, but I would still say 2 is just that tiny bit above 3.
Yeah,
the 3 for me.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. But this is my favorite of the Iron Man movies. It's so much fun. I think it captures the Iron Man origin story perfectly. And I personally have it number 2, but I'm okay with number 2 being what it is because number 2
is Captain America. Well, like this so much better on rewatch.
I have loved this movie.
When I was younger, I hated nonfiction movies, war movies. They were just boring to me, and so I was like, "Oh, Captain America is just another war movie," and so I only watched it once. Probably didn't even pay attention all that well, and so we watched it again. I love it. All the action is good. All the music is good. All the casting is fantastic. There's one or two things you can find wrong, and that's it.
Yeah, that's really about it. It's just a great movie. I think it's just because our taste in the characters. Because I think you and Logan prefer Captain America over Iron Man. I prefer Iron Man.
Me and Logan are Captain America.
But I think we all still agree that like those 2 characters are the 2 best in the MCU.
Happy.
3 best characters.
Morbius. No.
So yeah, Captain America is at number 2, and number 1 cannot be anything other than.
It's Avengers. It's a perfect movie. We're done with the list.
But like we just talked about in our Avengers review, it's perfect. There's no issues. We don't have any issues with it.
Coulson dies. Anyways, bad movie. Happy's not in it.
0 out of 10.
0 out of 10. Morbius and Happy.
They aren't in the movies.
They aren't in the movie.
But it's a perfect movie. It's a contender for the best movie in the MCU. And it's one of the, again, like I said in the Avengers review, there are 5 MCU movies that I give a 10 out of 10, and I probably am going to stick with those 5. But this is a top 3 MCU movie.
I'm limiting myself to 3 10s the entire MCU, which if you think about it is
not that much,
but that's not a lot.
Like in my opinion, if you have more than 5 movies in the MCU that have more than a 10,
you're throwing them around.
Yeah, you are really throwing them around. But Avengers, perfect movie. The first time the Avengers assemble, one of the most rewatchable movies of all time. The movie me and him have probably seen the most out of any movie ever. I've lost track of how many times I've watched this movie.
Besides my other like movie that's contending for my favorite movie ever, which is Pacific Rim. This is the movie I have by far seen the most besides Pacific Rim.
And it's what all Phase 1 was building up to. No matter how good and bad the movies in the rest of Phase 1 were.
And with how much they try to do, with how much is building up to this, it could have been terrible. It could have been so bad. It could have been the biggest letdown ever because you had 5 movies just leading up to this one thing, and it could have been terrible.
And it wasn't. It handled everything perfectly.
This movie is the reason why, Iron Man and like Captain America and those like the first couple are like a big reason why the MCU is as big as it is. Avengers, the first Avengers, is the reason why MCU is as big as it is.
Absolutely. But that is going to do it for our ranking. Please be sure to let us know what your ranking of Phase 1 is down below. And stay tuned for our next ranking video where after we do Ant-Man, we do a ranking of Phase 2.
Oh, I totally forgot about it. I want to watch Ant-Man really bad.
I'm so excited. I love Ant-Man. But we got a while because first we have to get to Iron Man 3 next. So that's going to be the next MCU review. And then Phase 3 ranking is probably going to take a little bit longer to do. And just really quick to specify, for Phase 3, we're going to be doing reviews for the ones we have not done. So if you guys want to see reviews of Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, just go check out the reviews I already have in a playlist up on the channel. Because it's pointless to redo those.
Me and Logan will probably end up giving our opinions on those movies, like
in the ranking.
In the ranking, 2 just in
Homecoming because you were in the Far From Home review.
Yes.
So Logan for both of those, but I think it's pointless to redo those because my opinion really hasn't changed. I think it's pointless.
Our opinions
Eternals we're gonna redo because I have to change my thoughts, and it was just by myself. So that's gonna be. Eternals is the last MCU movie we're going to do before we reviewed every single MCU movie, and hopefully by that point, Black Panther Wakanda Forever will be next. November 11th. So we got till November 11th to get the rest of these out, which we have a plan for it, but we're going to talk about the off-screen. So that's going to do it, and we'll see y'all later, Avengers!